Tim, Miami's got De'Ara King running a hyper-fast offense. He is the man who makes it go.
He is the man that makes it go, Dave. He's a really exciting player. The transfer from Houston came with a lot of fanfare, and he has absolutely delivered for the Hurricanes. One of the most exciting players in all of college football. He can do it from the pocket. He can do it as a designed runner, and he also can do it as a scrambler. After a tough performance against Clemson, he bounced back a week ago. Really impressive job against the Pitt Panthers. 4 touchdowns, which is a season high, and this Virginia defense is going to have their hands full with De'Ara King.
Well, a completely different story for Virginia, Tim. It looks like Brennan Armstrong is set to return, but in a game and a half he's been out in the concussion protocol. 3 other quarterbacks rotated through.
It is a completely different story for Virginia. They have high aspirations for Brennan Armstrong, but they have had to use a committee of quarterbacks. And I know you, like me, Dave, still trying to get used to 36, 98, 99 at the quarterback position. But look, they're trying to piece it together until they can get healthy at the position.
So for more on the very fluid quarterback situation at Virginia, let's bring in Katie George from Hard Rock. Katie?
Well, guys, I'm told that Brennan Armstrong was cleared by UVA's medical staff earlier this week. Bronco Mendenhall was optimistic as of Thursday afternoon, but before he made the final decision, he wanted to make sure that Armstrong got enough reps and work in so that he would feel confident in his preparation to play in tonight's game. I'm told he did just that. They feel good about the amount of work he got in over the last couple of days, and so he will get the start. Unfortunately, though, for this Virginia offense, they will be without one of their biggest offensive weapons. Lavelle Davis Jr., the true freshman wide receiver, Dave, he will not play in tonight's game.
Okay, Katie, thank you very much. Great to have you with us on the sideline tonight. There's rain in the forecast, maybe a possible thunderstorm around the area as you look at Manny Diaz in his second year at the U. And of a lot of smart hires that he has made, naming college and pro Hall of Famer Ed Reed as chief of staff is among them. He's certainly getting a lot of praise for the new offensive coordinator, Rhett Lashley. And on the other side of the football tonight, the head coach for Virginia, Bronco Mendenhall, former BYU head coach. Now, he has a victory over 12 teams that have won previously a national championship, including Miami, Texas, FSU, and Nebraska. Now, Virginia won the toss. They will defer. Miami to receive to start this football game tonight, hoping that the conditions will be dry for the rest of the evening. And just about set here for the kickoff tonight. Thanks so much for joining us from this beautiful stadium that both Tim and I are very anxious to get inside at some point. Obviously, when things change all around the country and around the world, and it's safe to do that, we'd love to see about 65,000 or so in there and be with them too. And De'Ara King has really had an outstanding season to this point for the Miami Hurricanes. A transfer from Houston with that up-tempo warp speed offense, which is an awful lot of fun to watch. And about to get his first crack at it. King tossing for 4 touchdown passes against Pitt, as Tim said last Saturday. He's already been named the ACC Quarterback of the Week 2 times in 5 games. Had an outstanding career at Houston, playing in 34 games. He threw 50 touchdown passes. And training with Florida quarterback and his high school backup, Kyle Trask, in the offseason. So King with Harley in motion, his fastest receiver. He took a look at him. Now he's going to throw long right away. A fight for the football is going to be caught. And an outstanding catch along that sideline by Will Mallory, who is the number 2 tight end. And for a day, Tim, last week, he was the star with 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He runs a wheel route here, and De'Ara King, who you said they like to operate on warp speed, starts off in warp speed.
Quickly picking up first down. Now he's going for the long ball. He has a man open immediately in the end zone. It's Harley for the touchdown, and that took about 8 seconds. And Miami is on the board. That goes for 43 yards and a touchdown. In the blink of an eye, the Hurricanes strike.
Unbelievable start for De'Aaron King. And talk about going fast, getting first down, their first down, and trying to get big plays going in their passing game. Well, 2 right out of the gate for De'Aaron King.
So Borealis on for the extra point. That'll make it 7-0. You're talking about a half minute of football, Tim, and already 7-0 Miami.
Yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. Basically, he's going to be the inside guy in trips, a little bunch into the boundary, for Miami offensively. And they're just going to get cut flat-footed. It's a bit of a double move. And they've got Noah Taylor, it looks like, out there. The 6'5", 225-pound outside linebacker essentially finds himself playing a safety-type position in space. And you have no shot against a guy like Mike Harley with that type of speed. That just doesn't really even make sense to be lined up kind of in space like that with a 6'5", 225-pound Sam linebacker against a 5'11", 180-pound speedy wide receiver. So, that bunch formation into the boundary obviously caused some confusion and some misalignment.
43 yards for the touchdown for the Canes. Now, Virginia is without a very talented wide receiver in Lavelle Davis, but it's a lot worse for Virginia. Their starting safeties, Blount and Nelson, will not play in tonight's game. And here's Kelly trying to bring it out. He finds a big hole. They're able to stack him up eventually and take him down, but after a fine return by Tavares Kelly. And now the football goes over toward Brennan Armstrong, the quarterback for Virginia. As we mentioned, all 3 backup quarterbacks rotated in last week's game against Wake Forest. Armstrong played a game and a half and then knocked around, and because of the concussion protocol, missed a game and a half. It's pretty good field position at the outset here after a 36-yard return. And Armstrong definitely has good receivers to throw to, and fires a bullet, and a completed pass to Kelly. A flag down after the play.
And Dave, I think it's a good shot. We're going to have a discussion here about targeting right after that reception.
So we'll pick up the call here. 7-0 Miami.
Personal foul. Targeting. Number 5 defense. The play is under further review.
And that is Amari Carter, the free safety. So we'll take a look at that as we go to commercial break. Targeting call on the 6'2" senior Carter. So this play is under review. Quick start for the Hurricanes here at home tonight. All right, so they did confirm the targeting call there on Carter. He has been disqualified. Automatic first down. The pass was actually ruled incomplete. Armstrong trying to run it and will tumble ahead for a gain to bring up second down. Here's another look.
And David, it's the right call. Carter lowers his head, makes forcible contact with the head of Kelly, and it's so hard for these defenders, and I don't know what to coach them to do, but you can't do that.
Diving effort there by the tight end, Tony Poljan. That'll pick up 3 yards. He is tied for 5th in the nation for catches by a tight end. Tim, this is a great conference for tight ends. Up and down, there are a lot of teams that have very gifted tight ends.
I agree. And Poljan's a little bit different type of tight end because of his size. I mean, 6'7", 265. The former quarterback is a really good player and a nice find for Virginia.
Hunter Long at BC, number 1 in the nation in receptions among tight ends. Going to pick up the first down on a carry by Talapapa that goes for 5. Wayne Talapapa, the 5'9", 210-pound junior from Hawaii. Miami with the 7-0 lead on as quick a strike as you will see in college football all season long. 1st and 10 And out of pocket collapsing. Armstrong trying to get out of there. He's going to dive ahead, but that play broke down, and he's going to gain 1 yard on it.
And he's a pretty good runner, Dave, when things break down. I mean, it's, I think, one of his skill sets. We'll see a lot of design runs with Brennan Armstrong. We'll see him lined up as a wide receiver, as we do here down at the bottom of the screen.
2nd down and 9 for Virginia. Well, they've had such a terrible start early on. Going to be a keeper here. Armstead into the ball game, and here we go with the quarterback rotation. Ira Armstead with the carry. He rushed for a touchdown against Wake.
Yeah, just a zone read with Ira Armstead. And Dave, I think you're right. Brennan Armstrong's back, but we heard from Katie in the open about, basically they were getting other guys ready to play as well. And I think they probably stumbled onto something with getting better athletes on the field with Keaton Thompson and Ira Armstead, which is why we're seeing them lined up behind center once again.
1st down and 10. Going to throw. It's Armstrong to throw. And it's going to be incomplete. Kicked around, but an incomplete pass as Pole jams up
incomplete. 2nd down.
So a little bit of trickery here for the Virginia offense.
Yeah, and they really have it there. I mean, Pole jam's got to come back to the ball better. Go meet the football rather than letting the defender close on it. Kind of get enough of his body to the football to knock it out. But I think it's what Virginia feels like they have to do to start to generate some offense. Get good athletes on the field, and Robert Nye is not afraid to call a trick play.
Billy Kemp in motion. He's going to be the target, complete to him. He has been their top receiver this season. Frankly, one of the very best in the country. 36 receptions. That's number 37. This one goes for 8 yards.
He's been good. He's been that Joe Reed out of role, Dave. When you say in this offense, so many different ways to get him the football. Shown up big in the passing game for them so far.
And he's averaging 9 catches a game. That's number 1 in the ACC. 3rd down and 2 here. Armstrong again with some play action. He's going to roll and fire, and it's going to be complete. And stepping out of bounds, Billy Kemp with another reception as they get close, and now 1st and goal.
Yeah, this is a good play design, good call by Robert Onai. Little play action, move the pocket, and then get a, basically a wake of a release, so to get off coverage, and then Billy Kemp just on the little comeback route. Good timing, ball right into his chest.
4 first downs for Virginia on this drive. They have responded quickly. Can they get into the end zone now? 1st and goal for the Cavaliers. Going to keep it now, dump it into the end zone, and it's going to be broken up by Miami as they go for the 2nd tight end. Mish unable to haul that one in as that one's disrupted. They had a touchdown, but broken up. That was Thompson unleashing the little pass.
Yes, this little Tebow jump pass, if you will. Looks like a quarterback run, that jump pass. But how about Bubba Bolden? Look at that play. Comes off of his man, diagnosed what's happening, and is able to break up the completion.
Now it's Armstrong back in there. He's going to run it on a design play, and down he goes at about the 2-yard line. Stopped by Harrison Hunt with a 4-yard pickup. So Virginia knocking on the door. 3rd and goal for the Cavaliers. They go with 2 tight ends. The 11th play of the drive. Looking for the end zone. He pump fakes, fires for the back of the end zone. Did he get a foot in? He did. It's a touchdown. An outstanding play by Poljan to get a foot down before he left into the end zone. An outstanding leaping catch.
Well, you called it, Dave. It is a conference full of good tight ends, and Tony Poljan basically saying, look, include me in that mix. What a play by the 6'7" tight end. I mean, basically his entire body is heading out of bounds, but getting that left foot down after catching the football is an incredibly athletic move by the big fella.
Wow. 6'5", 265. How about that body control? And the point after is good to tie it. What a start in this one, as Virginia with a terrific answer comes back to tie it.
What a start is right, Dave. And what about the body control by the big 6'7" tight end? They've been getting off to slow starts, but not tonight for Virginia.
ACC Network Football is presented by Geico. Happy Geico-Weed. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Well, Virginia had been outscored 48-3 in the first quarter, and they did not score a touchdown when they lost to Miami here last season, 17-9. Taking care of some business early on there, Tim.
Yeah, totally different story for them. I mean, slow starts have really been a problem for Virginia this year, and so I think getting a touchdown on that drive, also the way they did it, playing the different quarterbacks, and then think about the slow starts we've seen from Brennan Armstrong this season. He starts off the night 4 for 5, and his only incompletion was the drop on that double pass. So he has to feel good about how things have gone in his return to action.
So we'll see if the Hurricanes have an immediate answer. A drop there right at the 1-yard line. Lang's going to take it out. And diving straight ahead, that's where the drive will begin. 1st and 10 after a 15-yard return for the Hurricanes. Tim, I got to ask you about this shuffling of quarterbacks. I mean, you play all your career to be the guy. They don't have just one guy, at least not at this moment. They're not settling on just one quarterback.
Yeah, they're not, and that generally is hard, Dave, and I think it can lead to mistakes. That being said, I think the mark of this Virginia football team is kind of unselfishness. I think it's how Bronco Mendenhall coaches his team, and so I think the quarterbacks have to be okay with it.
King, who is certainly the man from Miami, firing to his tight end, going short there to Mallory. But a flag is down here. Early in the first quarter, tied 7-7 here at Hard Rock in Miami Gardens, Florida. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck.
Number 86, offense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So a hold here on the Hurricanes. Miami coming in at 4-1, 3-1 in the conference. Right now ranked number 11, and they're going with a double tight end set as well. Virginia is certainly not bashful about doing that when they have the opportunity. And on the run, it's going to be Harris trying that right side, but that closes up quickly on Cameron Harris, and Snowden with the stop for a loss of 2.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Charles Snowden. He runs this down from behind, which that's not really his game, but he does cover so much space because of his length at 6'7".
Early test, 2nd and 20. King from the end zone. Now trying to get out of there. He's going to run with it. He's going to tuck it, getting to the 20. Looking for that first down. Takes a pretty good hit by Grant, but he got close. That's a 19-yard gain.
And that's, Dave, I think this is what makes him so special. It's a design pass play, but then he rips off a 19-yard run just by instincts as a football player when it's not there downfield.
He's already rushed for 2 touchdowns this season, so dangerous. On a handoff, going to pick up the first down. So on the rush, it's Harris again for a gain of 3, and they will move the sticks.
You just think, to go back to the scramble, you just think about what a difference it makes. You know, you throw a check down as a quarterback, you may end up with a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5. Instead, because of that run, much more manageable 3rd down, and, you know, a simple dive ends up getting you your first down of the drive.
1st and 10 for King and the Hurricanes. Back to throw, fires right over the middle. He loves to go to that tight end, complete, and a big gain after the catch as well by Will Mallory. They are missing Brevin Jordan tonight, Tim, but not making much difference. That goes for 26.
Well, they're missing Jordan, but they have a really good tight end in Will Mallory, and they know it too, Dave. And when we had them week 1, they felt like we have 2 really good tight ends. We're comfortable with both of them.
Yeah, they really feel like they have, in this program, produced so many gifted tight ends. This run goes for 2 for Harris. Now back to De'Ara King, and you and I have been talking about him all week and how unusual it is to try and defend a guy like this. There are quarterbacks who like to carry the football There are guys who can break your back with it, but this guy can do it all night. He can do it for 4 quarters.
I completely agree. You know, he has a calmness about him, but when he decides to take off and run, remember, this is a guy that played wide receiver at this level and then was a pretty good one. And he's got great quickness. He runs with good toughness. And he's just got such a great feel as a football player of when to take off and run with it. Harris
with another carry. Cameron Harris, who has gone across the goal line 5 times for a touchdown this season, he'll pick up 2 yards on this play. You know, talking with the coaches and some of the Hurricane players over the last couple of times we've called their games, there's so much regard for this guy at quarterback, so much regard for his leadership skills.
Yeah, and I think that this is what they needed. They needed a veteran at the position. It looks like they're going to end up going with some type of wildcat here on 4th and 1.
Harris as the running back, but a timeout.
Miami, their first of the half.
So Miami will take their first of the half. For Manny Diaz, we're tied 7-7. Well, Coach Diaz is calling for a timeout. 4th and 1 here, Tim.
And, you know, they looked like prior to the timeout that they were going to go with some type of wildcat formation, but instead they've chosen to put Derek King back at quarterback, and I would expect some type of zone read here. You know, you can either give it to the back, or King has the ability to read that edge defender and keep the ball as a runner.
Going to hand off here to Harris, and straight ahead he goes to pick up the first down. So it was that simple in the end. Harris, the 5'10", 210-pound junior and a Florida native, picks up the first. And they go quickly again, as they will all night long. King back to throw, fires, and that one is complete and caught by Harley. Harley's the fastest guy maybe on the field here, certainly for Miami. Local kid out of Fort Lauderdale picks up 5.
And they need guys like Harley to step up. I mean, this receiver group, I think, has kind of been the underperforming group on this offense, and they're looking for players to emerge.
They're going to keep it on the ground here. So that will bring up a 3rd down as we are tied 7-7. Canes winning last year's meeting between the two, 17-9. They lead the all-time series 10-7. Just lost 3 yards on the carry. De'Ara King looking to get Miami in the end zone. You can't do it any quicker than they did in about 28 seconds or so to start the ball game on a 43-yarder. And a touchdown pass. He's looking to throw again, but pressure on him, and he's going to fire a wobbly one out of bounds as he was tied up and headed down. That was Snowden getting some help from Mandy Alonso, who is a Miami native.
Number 1, offense. The ball being placed in the spot of the foul. Loss of down. 4th down.
You said it's Alonso and Snowden, and you know, as Derek King's trying to get rid of the football, you know, there isn't a receiver inside. I'm not sure that made it back to the line of scrimmage, but it's Snowden and, you know, Harris, who's, you know, typically pretty good. It's actually Scaife. It's DJ Scaife, the right guard, who just gets absolutely bull rushed. And, you know, a little bit surprising, but Snowden, one of these interesting players at his size, not really known as a pass rusher, but good effort there to the quarterback.
We'll talk about interesting size. How about the punter from Miami, Lou Headley, at 6'4", 230 pounds. And the Australian, certainly one of the more interesting players in all of college football today. Also one of the top punters at the 10-yard line, taken by Kemp there. And this one will go for 35. Now, for one, Headley is, by the way, 27 years old, former Australian rules football player, also the father of a 2-year-old son. And for a time, to make a couple of bucks growing up in Australia, he was a scaffolder, so he saw most of Western Australia from hundreds of feet up.
And he has been such a weapon for Miami. He's really been a big contributor in a bunch of their wins.
Has been. He's up for the Ray Guy Award. On the carry here, it's Thompson, who is one of the quarterbacks, one of the 4 we may yet see in this game tonight for Virginia. That play goes for 1 yard.
That's kind of an interesting look there with a 99 number at 6'4", 215 pounds, taking a handoff like that. But they've just identified him as one of their better athletes. It just makes sense to have good athletes on the field.
Armstrong trying to get it ahead as he stretches out to the 20-yard line, looking for that first down marker. 3rd down and 1 coming up. Actually just inches for Virginia. Cavaliers have lost 3 consecutive games. They began the season with a solid win over Duke, then fell at #1 Clemson 41-23, by 17 to NC State, by 17 at Wake last Saturday. So trying to dig themselves out. Thompson now the quarterback. He's going to keep it and plow ahead for a first down.
Dave, just watching this, I mean, I feel like we're looking at this gadget offense that we almost haven't seen before. I mean, basically you have a motion, then you have a quarterback shift out of the quarterback position. The running back becomes the quarterback. He's 6'4", and he decides to run a little zone read keep, and it's just been really unique so far.
Armstrong going to fire this one, and the pass is tipped and incomplete, intended for his tight end Poljan. Talented tight end. He's talked about how sports was his way to overcome his stutter. That no matter what anybody said, he could always go onto the football field or the basketball court. He was a very good basketball player too, and he was always going to outwork everybody. He could always try harder, he said.
Yeah, I love his story. I love how humble he is, how hard he works, and really love watching him play. He's a good football player.
Armstrong dumping off a short toss there to Simpson, trying to make something on that play. A 2-yard gain for Virginia, so not much on that effort. And brings up a test here at 3rd down and 8.
And I think these are the situations that are going to be tricky. Known passing downs. You know, when I think they're kind of what they're best at doing is kind of some of these options or runs with these tough physical runners at the quarterback position.
Well, they are 4 for 4 on 3rd down. Nearly a spectacular catch, but incomplete, intended for Kelly off of his right hand. That'll force a punt now for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, and it was just a blitz, a pressure from the bottom of the screen coming at Brennan Armstrong, and I think that's what led to the throw being pretty high. And then because that throw was high, Kelly wasn't able to bring it in. Leads to that 4th down.
So Nash Griffin to get off the punt here for Virginia, tied up 7-7. 2:46 to go in the first quarter at Miami Gardens. And he gets off the punt. And a fair catch way back at the 20-yard line. Well, every Saturday morning, the huddle with Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, E.J. Manuel, and Mark Richt comes your way, getting you ready for ACC football, previewing the slate of games and keep you updated on all things ACC. Our Halloween edition next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app.
Something tells me Eric McLean will be wearing a Halloween costume, Dave, wouldn't you say? I mean, I think
I would hope.
Like to see
I would hope.
Coach Richt in one also, maybe?
I'd like to see one of them in a giant Smurf outfit. And we'll pay real dollars to see that. King with a complete pass here, got it to Pope. Mark Pope, the junior and a Miami kid, his 17th reception, but that didn't get anything. 0 gain. So it brings up 2nd down and 10 for the Canes. De'Ara King, who's having a terrific season with the handoff here. And off that left side, it's Knighton. There's also a guy, Tim, that he will throw to. 10 receptions so far for Knighton as well, so he can do a lot.
He can. That's impressive for a freshman running back. Typically, they're behind in the passing game, pass protection as well as running routes. But the combination of true freshman running backs they have here are really impressive.
Fires again and completed to Harley along that side. Mike Harley with the catch. So he's been an early target, chased out by Bratton, but a first down.
I think it's plays like that that make Derek King so tricky to defend. I mean, it's catch, spit the ball out to your perimeter players, but he does have the ability to go deep, does have the ability to keep the ball as a runner. And I just think he's one of these guys, like, the more you can do. And it was interesting, Dave, I thought, when we had them in the opener and kind of this talk about, is he a runner, is he a passer? And Manny Diaz was like, are we past that? I think he's the modern quarterback. And I think he's a good fit for these guys.
Miami with 11 runs and 6 passes so far. He's been perfect throwing it, 6 for 6. And a handoff trying that left side, but not a whole lot there. It's Knighton again. In fact, absolutely nothing, no gain. And King looking a little bit upset there. And some pushing and shoving right there on the Virginia sideline between the Cavaliers and Hurricanes. And a flag down. You would bet maybe an unsportsmanlike conduct coming up. Here's what happened on the sideline. And that is Jeremiah Payton, the receiver. And getting right back into Cross's face.
And it's interesting to see Bronco holding back Payton and not holding back his own guy. You know, here's the deal. When a quarterback leaves the pocket, and I'll let the officials.
As the play was over, there are unsportsmanlike conduct fouls on both teams. Number 15, Virginia. Number 12, Miami. That's both of their first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. Those fouls offset. The down counts. 3rd down.
So this was the previous play they kind of got into as well. Take a look.
You know, Payton on a release, and, you know, it's held across his hands up high and kind of John a little bit, and that, you know, oftentimes can be typical receivers. But I'll tell you, the shot that Cross took on him the next play, I think it's a cheap shot. It's a runaway.
3rd and 8 for King, going for a home run ball, long one down the side, and a terrific attempt there, but it's going to be incomplete, out of bounds by Mark Pope. Amazing he even caught it, but he was out of bounds.
And I'm not so sure that he didn't get some of that left foot down. Dave does a good job playing football. I think it's his right foot.
Pass. The play is under further review.
What a catch here. And did he get that foot down? Looked like he did.
Yeah, that right foot is down, and these Miami receivers have been challenged to do a better job of playing the football, these 50-50 balls. Derek King's a good deep ball thrower. He has been throughout his career. He's been giving guys chances, and they need to start making these plays. Mark Pope gets an opportunity there, and I think he delivers. It's kind of a moment of truth. Plenty of contact. Secures the football, and that right foot hits inbounds. And I don't think that ball is moving around either.
No, I think you're right. I think he's maintaining control there. Gets the foot down. Certainly looks to us like that is a completed pass. It was about to be the first incompletion by King tonight. That was originally ruled an incompleted pass.
And I think it's pretty clear. We've seen some body control tonight, haven't we? First pulled in the back of the end zone, and you know, Mark Pope right here. And it was interesting. He even got up like he wasn't sure if he was in or not. The Virginia sideline seemed like they were pretty confident that he was out of bounds, but you know, I think it's clear, even with his body going out of bounds, that that right foot touches in while he has control of the football. And I think that's a big confidence booster for the junior. You know, he's kind of been in and out of the lineup as they've looked at some of these other younger wide receivers to find somebody to step up. And I think this coaching staff feels like there's talent at the position, but are looking for some production to match the talent.
After further review, the receiver got his right foot down inbounds and completed the catch. It will be first down and 10 at the 27-yard line.
Well, sensational catch here.
We'll start on my signal.
You see the reaction by Mark Pope, the Miami native. They got it right. It goes for 38 yards.
And it's a great reaction. Pretty much normally that's how guys feel inside, but he showed you how he was like really feeling.
Right.
It was
that's the inside voice coming out in a big way. So first down and 10 for the Canes. King still perfect, 7 for 7. Knighton on the carry. And a solid gain for the running back from Fort Lauderdale. He'll pick up 4. So second down and 6. And a short pass. He's going to get this one out to Few. And they're mixing in a lot of different guys, wide receivers. 6-yard gain on this play as the first quarter comes to an end. A man is down. An injury for Virginia. Boy, it started quick. A lot of entertaining plays in that first quarter. Miami 7, Virginia 7. Ready for the second 15 minutes here as we break it down. The game summary first quarter. And how about King? 8 for 8, Tim, 158 yards and 4 completions of at least 25 yards.
I mean, it's perfect. Normally you're 8 for 8, you're dumping the ball off, but it's been shots down the field too. It's been really impressive.
Goes short here to Knighton. They like to hit him out of the backfield. But rudely encounters Zandier there, -1 on that play.
Yeah, Zandier is fun to watch. I mean, even as an offensive guy, the way that he plays with such effort, just kind of reckless abandon to the football, does a good job on the perimeter there.
Just getting the second quarter underway and a play action that's going to be batted up and nearly picked off. Nick Jackson was all over it, got the hand up to deflect the football.
Yeah, I mean, I think Snowden as well, and he's kind of just this interesting player, man. With his length, it is just really unique for a guy to be 6'7", play well in space, and obviously makes it hard for quarterbacks to find throwing lanes.
First incomplete pass for King brings up third down and 12. Pressure on him, but he moves away, and he was sidelined, and again getting off the pass as he was going down to his knees. All sorts of pressure on De'Ara King, and it was Snowden giving chase. The question is, was he down before he got rid of it?
That's an interesting point there, Dave. You see Zandier getting to him. And I think that knee is touching down, actually, maybe before that football is coming out of his hand. Yeah, I think he's down. I think that's a sack for Zane Zandier. And Nick Howell decided to heat Miami up there, brought pressure on third down.
We will take a look at it when we come back. It will be under review. We're tied 7-7. So they're going to reverse this and call it a sack. King gets sacked, a loss of 7. Tim, it looks to us like they got this right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. They do get this right. Zandier gets there, and De'Ara King just late throwing the football away or trying to get out of his hands. And by doing that, that knee hits the ground, and it's a sack.
So for Borregales, this will be a 42-yarder. This is a problem they've been able to correct from a year ago, and a good field goal kicker, but not this time. This has been a problem going back to last year, but so far this season, they had been outstanding. In fact, he had been 8 for 8.
And based on the reaction from Virginia, I think they end up getting a piece of this. It wasn't just a missed kick here. I think it's Amos from the left side. He gets a piece of it, and that's a big-time stop. Typically you don't have edge pressure making that block, but I wonder if the operation was slow.
So Virginia, with a man still on his feet, Talapapa took the initial hit but kept on moving, and he picks up 11 yards and a quick first down for the Cavaliers.
I just am looking at this offense feeling like we're looking at something different than we saw earlier in the year. You know, we got Keaton Thompson running back into the game. He's a quarterback that's now lined up as a wide receiver. They run an option that basically looks like a triple option on first down.
Keaton Thompson, who's done some running not only in this game but this season prior to tonight, one of the quarterbacks. He'll take the snap. He finds some room to operate, trying to get to that edge before they stack him up. Thompson with the carry. DJ Ivy gets to him, but not before he gains 7.
Yeah, and it's clear they're trying to get the ball in Keaton Thompson's hands. He's lined up as a wide receiver. He motions across the formation. He then kicks Brennan Armstrong out of the quarterback position and makes him motion out to wide receiver before he carries the football.
This is kind of amazing to watch, this offense tonight for Virginia. And on the keep, once again, it's Armstrong to pick up a first down. Brennan Armstrong moving it ahead for 6 yards.
You know, Manny Diaz said to us, he's like, we know they have more with these different quarterbacks. So, you know, we need to prepare for what might be next. We don't want to chase ghosts in terms of how we're trying to prepare for this offense, but I'm not even sure you would have been able to come up with these ghosts to chase based on what they've done so far.
Talapapa bouncing outside and scooting out of bounds, the 5'9" running back. Talapapa will pick up about 6. Says he strengthened those legs running on the sandy hills in Hawaii growing up. Often finding a couple of really nice pricey golf courses to do that. 2nd down and 3. And more trickery here. It's going to be Armstrong to throw short this time, but incomplete. So you're going to see just about everything, including the kitchen sink here tonight.
I mean, I feel like, do they have more gadgets in the system? I'm not sure if they do or not. There's Thompson at quarterback. Here comes Armstrong. Give it to him on the fly sweep. They've got a post-wheel combination that's wide open, and Armstrong just can't get it there. But it is there. There are plays to be had. We've seen 2 gadget throws. I mean, there's a fly sweep, pass. We've seen a double pass already. We've seen the jump pass from a true freshman quarterback. Just the fact that they've been able to rep this stuff and have it ready for prime time is unique.
Talapapa trying to duck inside, but not much room to operate there for the running back. He stopped after picking up 1 yard. Phillips there to get in on it. Jalen Phillips, the big defensive end. He's big, he's fast, he's talented. He is likely headed to the NFL. He's a junior at 6'5", 265 from Miami.
He's been a really nice find.
Ends. Yeah, both of their ends, Tim. I mean, Roche, the other guy on the right defensive end position, he has had an outstanding season. He's had 9 or 10 tackles for a loss already.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, Dave. He's been outstanding. Then Jalen Phillips, I think, been somewhat of a surprise for them. But you're right. I mean, I think it's clear could have an NFL future with his physical traits, and then his effort as well is something that stood out to this Miami coaching staff.
Now Virginia able to down that inside the 5-yard line. Tied up 7-7 in the second.
How much time do we have left? How much time do we have left from commercial? John, I'm not hearing you at all.
All right, well, this one is tied up 7-7. Miami and Virginia, and after a very quick start by both offenses, things have slowed up considerably, although not the tempo on the field, because, Tim, that's been breakneck pace.
That has been breakneck pace, and it's kind of what we expected. And I think I'm more surprised that Virginia's been able to do it because they've been playing 3 different quarterbacks.
At least the ones we could identify. The way things have been going tonight, Harris with the carry to the right side.
And it is hard to identify them with the numbers that they're wearing. I mean, 98 and 99, how bizarre is that? I just want to thank D'Eriq King for wearing number 1 tonight. It's a typical quarterback number.
Yeah, small favors. Second down and 9 for Miami. He's out of the end zone. He's going to fire it, and incomplete. Intended for Peyton, but could not get it to him. So Miami starting from inside their 5-yard line. That'll bring up third down and 9.
Yeah, and I think Miami has to get something going in the pass game. They've struggled to run the football on anything other than a scramble by D'Eriq King.
He's going to try and keep it, but they stack him up. D'Eriq King stopped pretty cold on that effort. So fourth down coming up.
I think that's surprising there, Dave, don't you? I mean, essentially a zone read on 3rd and 9. I get that you're backed up inside your own 5-yard line, but your best football player is D'Eriq King, and running the football has been difficult tonight for the Hurricanes so far, and Virginia's been good defending the run. I would have thought that you kind of continued to try to create opportunities in the passing game.
Indeed, their first 3 and out, in fact, for either team in this game. That's kind of amazing. And whistles immediately as Headley likes to roll out and punt in that manner. Got a launch one. The timeout. We're going to take it as well on 4th down and 9. Tied 7-7 in the second. Well, he's a great story. The 27-year-old punter for Miami. I don't know if there's a bigger punter alive on the face of the planet. And for more on Lou Headley, let's toss it down to Katie.
Definitely the biggest, Dave. Headley says at the moment he plans to return next season because finishing his degree is extremely important to him. He said it'll give him another year to work on his craft, even though he is, yes, 27 years old. He said he was watching one of the NFL games last weekend and noted that one of the punters was 38. So he doesn't think that older age is a detractor if you're a specialist. But this is a guy that dropped out of high school, spent 7 years as a scaffolder before joining the Pro Kick Academy for Australian punters and kickers. He got the grades to go to JUCO, and now he's here in Miami. He wants to see this thing through and complete his degree, so we could see him kicking more balls next season.
No offense to punters watching, but that's the most time we've ever spent on a punter in any broadcast we've ever done. But he is a great, great story. There's no denying that. Papa on the carry.
Hey, he deserves the attention. Not only is his story remarkable, but he's been so good for this football team. And it was one of the first questions you asked Manny Diaz, and he lit up about what a hard worker he was, how humble he was, and honestly how he contributed to their win a week ago against Pittsburgh.
And how about the tattoos? One of them is of a UFO abducting a cow. Believe it.
I do think it was.
Honestly, this is a guy that could rival.
This one, and it'll be incomplete. Go ahead, Katie.
This is just a guy that I think could rival Jonathan Goldsmith, you know, the most interesting man in the world from the Dos Equis commercials. Like, if they're trending to look younger, look no further. Lou Headley is definitely your guy.
No question.
I just think it's pretty cool, Dave, that you guys have matching sleeve tattoos.
Can't believe you gave that
cool.
away, but thank you very much. You know, he used to own a tattoo parlor in Indonesia. You know,
the story keeps getting better. It keeps getting better.
Firing to the sideline and tiptoeing after the reception by Thompson. And they're going to pick up another first down on a completion that goes for 11.
Well, how about this? This guy's been playing quarterback. He was on the punt team as we're talking about Headley, and then he goes out and makes a ridiculous catch on the perimeter. Gets both feet in bounds, actually, and certainly used all 6'4" plus the reach to pull that one in.
Once again, it'll be Armstead in a quarterback, and a hole opens up for him. Looking to make a move, but picks up a gain here. That'll go for 5 yards. So the quarterbacks just keep on coming for the Cavaliers.
They really do. I mean, it's incredible that they have these guys ready to play at this type of level, and it's Armstead, who's a true freshman, who is really a very good runner, and used him on a quarterback draw on that previous play.
Ran for a touchdown against Wake Forest. Armstead again. Rolling to his right. Trying to get close to that first down marker. And made a heck of an effort on the step to do exactly that. They're going to call it a first down. Got a really nice block on the play as he picked up 5. That was Hayden Mitchell, who's one of the wide receivers. Doesn't catch many balls, but a fine block here.
Well, you mentioned it. If you're a wide receiver with all these different quarterbacks, it's great that your offense is moving the football. It is tricky for wide receivers to have these guys, bounce in and out of the lineup.
Now we have a man down, an injury. First down and 10 coming up. We're tied 7-7. More in a moment.
Remember that National Vote Early Day is October 24th. For more information, visit IamAvoter.com.
And back here at Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida, Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck from our homes. Katie George on the field. As you look at the quarterbacks who have so far played for Virginia tonight, already 3 of them. Pretty good pop there that Kemp took, but he's still on his feet. Man, he shows you a little bit of toughness on that reception, Tim.
Yeah, I think Billy Kemp is really improving as the season goes on. I mentioned earlier kind of the Joe Reed replacement, but they're going to move him around, kind of use him on some of the gadget stuff. But I think he's been an excellent slot receiver for them, which I think in some ways been a bit of a surprise that he's come on as quickly as he has.
36 receptions in 4 games to start the season. That's a Virginia record coming into play tonight. Talapapa trying to bounce outside before he is tripped up. Wayne Talapapa will gain 4 on that carry for Virginia. Down to Katie.
Well, guys, Kemp says he has this heart over height mindset that made him a go-to target here for Virginia. He said he was overlooked coming out of high school in part because of his size. But Kemp says if you play with your heart, you make plays, you stick to your assignment, and you help your team, you're considered a good football player that just so happens to be 5'9".
He is certainly a very good football player. He had 10 catches against #1 Clemson. Once again, it'll be Thompson at the quarterback. He takes off. Looking for that first down. He gets that. And plenty more after before he is taken down. But he will pick up a first down on a 13-yard run.
Yes, it's a design quarterback run. He does a nice job of following Grant Mish up the line of, up to the line of scrimmage. And I almost think that Virginia has stumbled onto something. I mean, in the Clemson game, he catches a touchdown pass. But then they had to use him against Wake Forest, and I think they realized it's an asset to their football team when the ball's in his hands.
Armstead this time taking over at quarterback. Can't get outside. Dragged down on the play by Roche, who has 9.5 tackles for a loss, but this one goes for 3 yards. Tim, is it sustainable? Can you do this for an entire season, this quarterback rotation?
I think what's tricky, Dave, is that you have to practice it. You have to rep it. Now, I think people are repping stuff differently because of COVID, right? I mean, you might be in a situation where you find out game day you only have a quarterback, so you're getting multiple players ready. So maybe this is the time. Now, I will say this, as we see Poljan jump,
full start.
Different cadences.
Number 87, offense. 5-yard
And
penalty.
go against Virginia and a tight end. Their first penalty of tonight's game.
Different cadences, things like that, Dave, I think can, be something that the group has to get used to. So, look, I think you can probably build on it, but, it would be shocking to see it happen this much in every single game.
Second down. Virginia trying to grab the lead after they fell behind about a half a minute. Pressure on the quarterback, and Armstrong is sacked on the play. Bradley Jennings, like he was fired out of a cannon, was all over him.
I was thinking the same thing, just absolutely fired out of a cannon. Look at him hit this. Basically just the offensive line doesn't squeeze it down, and so basically right in between the tackle and guard. Here comes Jennings with that speed. And you know, Miami obviously known for speed at linebacker. Jennings coming with it there.
Hurricanes with their first tackle for a loss in this game. On a long third down suddenly. Armstrong to fire to the end zone and a touchdown caught by Henry. Touchdown Virginia. He found an open receiver in the end zone for 6. There is a flag on the play.
An eligible player downfield, number 85, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
So take that away.
Yeah, Dave, you know, one of the things you're talking about playing all these different quarterbacks, one of the things is the operation. I think that's what scares you is the operation. You see Grant Mish, who's the tight end, the inline tight end on the bottom of your screen. He's covered up by Tony Poljan. And so he goes down the field, but he's not an eligible receiver because he's covered up by Poljan and the tight end who split out wide. And I think it's operational mistakes that you can feel like become a problem, you know, as you're playing various people at the quarterback position. But what a huge, huge penalty against that Virginia offense.
You know, Virginia had been mistake-free until 2 penalties and a sack, and this one an absolute backbreaker. And now they are going to take a timeout.
Virginia, their first of the half.
So Virginia trying to pull it together. They were knocking on the door. All the way back almost to the 30-yard line all of a sudden. As we were tied up 7-7, it was 2nd and goal at the 7-yard line, Tim.
Yeah, that's just brutal. The sack, and then you know you think you have a response to the sack when Armstrong is moving to his right as a lefty quarterback, draws the defender to him and throws a touchdown pass, only to have a procedural issue where you know you have a tight end that should know that he can't cover up the tight end inside of him, and it's not picked up by the quarterback to correct it. And now you find yourself in a really tough position and hope you can just get some of it back to lead to an easier field goal.
So tied up 7-7. They're going to put in 2 tight ends again, which the Cavaliers like to do in their offensive sets. 3rd down and goal. It's Armstrong with time to throw over the middle and complete, and caught by the tight end Poljan to bring up 4th down and goal, but of course well short. That goes for 11 yards.
But that's a good play, Dave, right there. And it's a good growing moment for Brennan Armstrong. Basically prevent defense. Tight ends running about a 10-yard out. Go ahead and hit him in the chest and lead to an easier field goal opportunity for Bryant Delaney.
5 of 6 for the year. This will be 35 yards out, as long as 42. And this one is up, and that one is going to be wide. Wide right. He missed it from 35 yards. So nothing on the drive here for Virginia in the end for Bronco Mendenhall. That has to be deeply disappointing. They were so close. 2nd down at the 7.
And that's just an absolutely brutal push of the, you know, a push of the kick, and brutal turn of events when you think about, you know, what just happened, where they were, and then to have that be the outcome.
I got to tell you, the way this game started with the laser quick strike by Miami and a quick answer by Virginia, I thought would be a 21-21 right now instead of 7-7. King back to throw. It's tipped, and it's going to be caught nonetheless by Miami. How about the grab there by number 6, Mark Pope, on the tipped pass?
Listen, tips and overthrows scare you as a quarterback, and I think it's Mandy Alonso who gets a big paw on it, and Pope, good concentration and fight for the football.
Harley trying to get free down the sideline. He is so quick, breaking free. He eluded 2, 3, maybe 4 tacklers and picks up a huge first down.
It's a huge first down. Great run after the catch, and it's really that play is made by Will Mallory on the perimeter, the tight end, filling in for Brevin Jordan. Good blocking on the perimeter to lead to that big play.
Timeout, Virginia.
Virginia taking a timeout.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
A 30-second timeout, tied 7-7.
And look at Mallory. He's in the middle of this trip set there, right there, 85. And this ball's just going to be thrown out to the perimeter on a little bubble to Harley. But just look at him sustaining the block, staying on him. It basically ends up taking 2 because he sustains his block. Antonio Clary trying to run in pursuit, kind of gets caught up in the wash. And you can see why when, you know, everyone talks about Brevin Jordan when they talk to these Miami coaches, that they say Brevin's great. Don't forget about 85. Will Mallory is another really good tight end here at the U.
Well, the U always known for terrific tight ends. They've got 2 great ones this season. That play goes for 28 yards. Virginia seemingly took a timeout because they had to catch their breath there.
Yeah, just moving so fast. So fast, Dave. And you're right about tight ends. You think about Jeremy Shockey, Greg Olsen, so many guys that have come through Miami and been great at that position.
Harley in motion, going to throw short to that sideline again. And a complete pass, continues to move the football. That one to D. Wiggins. And King trying to get him into the end zone. Low snap. Staying on his feet and moving forward. Just kept on moving forward, and he'll pick up a first down. Nick Jackson eventually with the stop, but 1st and 10 for Miami.
Well, look, Derek King's used to this speed, Dave. You're right. I mean, he's up there, you know, imploring everybody to get set. He wants to go even faster.
You get the idea that's true. Here's Harley now across the 30-yard line and spinning close to the first down marker. Harley getting a lot of carries so quick out of Fort Lauderdale. Stopped by Noah Taylor. That picks up 9 though.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Miami not afraid to go back to something. You know, they keep running these trip sets, throwing this bubble outside, and get good perimeter blocking.
On the carry, here's Chaney. For the first time we have seen him carry the football, and what does he do? He picks up 11 on that game. 1st and 10. Chaney again. This time they find him, and they find him very quickly. And the freshman taken down after a 1-yard pickup. And a man staying down here for Virginia. That is Richard Burney. Yep.
Virginia's gassed. I mean, you mentioned this, the pace a bunch here tonight, Dave, and it is on the money. And yeah, guys with hands on their hips. Snowden was trying to run off the field. He was gassed. Burney is down, and we obviously hope that he is okay. But the pace was getting to be too much. Guys, you know, not even defensive linemen, not even getting their hand in the dirt before the ball was snapped. And it felt like Derek King knew it. You know, it's one of the things I do think you can feel as a player when you're just looking at guys and seeing what, you know, just their response to the pace. I think that's why they really wanted to step on the gas there.
So a quarterback will do that. You'll look into the eyes. You'll see who's breathing real hard over there and just put your pedal to the metal.
And sometimes, Dave, the call, like you can tell the call is not getting in time for guys to get lined up. And that's part of the pace of play is you're trying to get people misaligned to take advantage of the fact that they're not lined up correctly. And maybe you get a leverage advantage or a number count advantage to help you.
King has been a very hot hand, only 2 incompletions. Back to throw, now rolling again. And still on his feet, steps out of bounds. Stopping the clock with 1:12 to go here in the first half in a 7-7 game. So Miami trying to punch it in one more time and get the upper hand. Well, they scored in about a half minute to begin this game on a 43-yard touchdown pass by King. 3rd down and 11, so certainly the biggest call here of the first half of the Canes. Chaney lining up alongside the quarterback. He'll throw it again. This time for the end zone. A battle for that, and it's incomplete. He wanted his tight end Mallory, but busted up by Virginia. Amos again, and he's been in a couple of plays.
Yeah, he has. And remember, filling in for Joey Blunt, who's out. But Mallory, I think, has got to put his foot in the ground and then fight back towards the football, because then he'll draw the contact. Because he's fading away from the football, Amos doesn't even have to turn his head around, kind of just read the eyes of the tight end, and he's able to make the play. That's the coaching point there. Ball's in the air, route doesn't matter. Fight back through contact.
Borregales has had one blocked. This one is true, however. He sticks it from 32 yards. And Miami has a 10-7 lead with about a minute to go before halftime. Borregales trouble with one earlier, but not this time. So Miami 10 and Virginia 7 here at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida.
And Dave, I think this will end up being a really interesting drive for Virginia. If there's a quarterback that's probably most suited for the 2-minute drill, it's probably the one quarterback we haven't seen, and that's Lindell Stone. We have a minute left. He's really if you were going to describe the guy as who's their best passer, I would kind of say that it's Stone. And so you almost wonder, okay, who got the reps in 2-minute drive situations for Virginia this week as they were preparing for Miami?
Would you agree that Miami goes faster than anybody you've seen this year offensively?
Dave, I think so. And we've seen fast teams. We've done a bunch of Wake Forest games. Virginia will push the tempo. NC State will push the tempo. But I feel like Miami is at another level in terms of how quickly their offensive linemen have their cleats in the grass.
Well, a minute here before halftime for Virginia to do something. And every Saturday morning, The Huddle with Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, E.J. Manuel, and the coach, Mark Richt. Get you ready for ACC football. It's our Halloween edition next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. So we'll see if 102 is enough time for the Cavaliers to get back into the scoring column, trailing by 3. Brennan Armstrong, who missed about a game and a half under concussion protocol, returning to the lineup as the starter tonight. He certainly hasn't been alone as the quarterback for Virginia. A handoff, Talapapa with a good hold there, and across he goes for the first down. A good extra effort there by the junior from Hawaii.
Yeah, and I think because of that drive starter, even with this weather and this situation with a young quarterback that's missed some time, I think it puts you into your 2-minute drill.
Rain kicking up. Armstrong throwing again over the middle, and it's off the fingertips of Jana, who we really haven't heard much from. Terrell Jana took a shot too.
Yes, with the emergence of Billy Kemp, Jana's role I think has kind of shrunk some, and Jana, who's been a really reliable receiver inside and playing in the slot, and in these conditions just not able to squeeze that one tight enough.
Rain in South Florida, it's a fact of life. Just hope that there are no lightning issues tonight. They'll get the players off the field in a heartbeat if you see that. 2nd down and 10. And whistles here. Stopping the clock, 42 seconds to go in the second. Miami in front 10-7. Rain pelting the field. Let's see if there's a review in play here. Number 11 Miami taking on Virginia in the ACC, and they're over to chat with Bronco Mendenhall, who likes to rope steer with his son to unwind after practices. 43 seconds as they have reset the clock.
Timeout, Virginia. Their 3rd and final of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, they're going to take a look to see if there was a targeting play. Now we're getting word.
Dave, did you get the sense, because this is what I got, that that Bronco wanted them to take a look at that.
Yes.
You know, and so Bronco, I think on an incompletion with the clock stopped, obviously timeouts matter at that point.
They confirmed there was no targeting, so there was no challenge on the play. So they simply go back to 2nd down and 10. Talapapa looking for an edge out there, finds some room to operate, and he'll step out. There is another flag on this play, as that'll go for 6 yards, but a flag dropped. Officials
Holding,
getting soaked.
Number 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It goes on Ryan Swoboda. He's a tough one to miss because he's 6'10". So if he's holding somebody, everybody knows it.
Yeah, at 6'10", it's hard to hide. And Dave, I just want to go back a couple plays there. I believe Bronco Mendenhall called a timeout. This is the hold here. Again, you're right, 6'10", and you get your arm hooked around Phillips like that, they're going to call that. But I think Bronco called a timeout because he wanted to give the officials more time to look and see if there was a targeting penalty on Bubba Bolden.
On the move, getting to the 40, and out he goes. There's a little bit of confusion, you're right, but I think you're correct. 14-yard pickup there by Armstrong. Time running out, 29 seconds remaining.
You know, I think there are times where it's unclear to coaches if something is being looked at or not. And you know, you maybe see something on the field, and you think about Bronco Mendenhall. He's playing without his 2 starting safeties. Carter has already been dismissed from this game because of targeting, and so I think he was concerned about it for Bolden.
They'll pick up the 1st down on that rifle shot there to Poljan. They'll pick up 10.
This is the play I can keep bringing back, but it seems to be crown of the helmet to a defenseless player.
Spiking it here, 21 seconds to go. Yep, take another look.
I mean, that's crown of the helmet to the head and neck area with forcible contact. And now I know why Bronco was using that timeout, saying, are we not looking at that? Are we not reviewing that for targeting?
I mean, that's almost textbook when you talk about targeting.
I mean, it's crown of the helmet. It's, you know, kind of an intentional, you know, like lining them
On
up.
the previous plays, the defense only had 11 players on the field, is under further review.
All right, so another one going to review. After the spike, it brings up 2nd down and 10, but this is under review as well. And a very choppy end to the first half here as they will take a look.
You know, and I'm not trying to, you know, belabor the point, but you know, you look at it, you know, the effects on the drive, and obviously here, I was looking at the numbers. So a guy, John, does an amazing job with the telestrator. That is 12. And
so that's what they're reviewing. Number of players on the field for Miami. They've got 12 on the field. So too many men on the field. Our count says they are correct with 21 seconds before the break. And the rain continuing to pelt Hard Rock Stadium here at beautiful Miami Gardens, Florida. This, by the way, is where the next national champion will be crowned, in this stadium.
And let's hope for those guys, the officials and coaches as well, and the fans that are hopefully in the stands for that it is not raining like this when they are here for it.
Yes. I can almost guarantee the weather's going to be picture perfect. And at least they're covering up the football here.
Hey, and I will say, as a quarterback, Dave, you're thankful when the guys do that. Some officials, some ball boys, they won't do that for you. So the fact that they are out there with the towel over the football, Not
After
sure how
further
much it's
review on the
helping,
first
but
down
it's
play
good.
when the quarterback spiked the ball, the defense had 12 players on the field. That is a foul for illegal substitution. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down and 5. The clock will start on the snap.
So that will move it to the 44, almost getting to field goal range here. With Miami in the lead by 3. And first and 5 for Virginia. Armstrong eludes a tackler, but can't get by the last one as he is dragged down on the play by Phillips. He picks up only 1. They've got to go fast here. 5 seconds left. Second down and 4. Looking for a receiver. He hurls it downfield, but it's going to be incomplete.
That's the end of the second quarter.
The first half comes to an end. Virginia will get the ball first in the second half. Miami on top 10-7. So that's the end of the first half in a pretty heavy rain here in South Florida. It really started out quickly and then not a whole lot of offense.
A little bit reminiscent of last year.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, last year, very low scoring game, 17-9. Miami would win that. The major difference is they kept Virginia from scoring a touchdown in that game, and the Cavaliers got on the board pretty quickly in this one, but nothing really followed after that, even though they had a lot of different players in there at the quarterback position throughout that first half. That certainly made it a little more entertaining. Right now, let's toss it down to the field and Katie George.
Bronco, it was an unfortunate turn of events there with the ineligible receiver downfield and then the missed field goal. What will your message be to your team in the locker room?
Well, I think they're playing hard, and I think they're playing with a lot of heart. It'll come down to just a couple plays.
You said your quarterbacks all deserved a reason to play this weekend because of how much they worked in practice. You said you didn't want that to go to waste. How would you assess the way that all your quarterbacks are playing and operating your system?
So I think it's going well, and yeah, we're right in it.
Thanks for the time.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. She's certainly right about that because it's pretty darn tight at halftime. Miami with the 10-7 lead here in South Florida over Virginia. Welcome back to ACC Network Football, presented by Geico. We're getting set for the second half. Miami up by 3 as we get ready for the third quarter. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, and Katie George with you on what has turned into a rainy night here in Miami. In the Gardens, we give you a look at the first half, Tim.
And it really was kind of 2 different scenarios. Miami comes out of the gate swinging. 2-play drive, and they put it in the end zone about as explosive as you possibly could be. And you think maybe this, passing game on stuff down the field is going to work for the Hurricanes. But then Virginia just battles back. An 11-play drive, playing a number of different guys at the quarterback position, playing guys like Keaton Thompson at quarterback and at receiver. Ira Armstead also in the mix at quarterback, and I think it's caused a little bit of confusion for the Hurricane defense, and it's led to some production from that UVA offense.
Now look at the first half stats brought to you by Zaxby's. Rushing yards 111 for UVA, only 30 for Miami, but Canes have a big edge in the passing game, 242 to 173. If you were not with us in the first half or only caught bits and pieces, Virginia using 3 different quarterbacks, you wonder how long they can keep that up. Will that certainly be the game plan here in the second half? Well, they're going to take it out and begin a drive here after the run back across the 26-yard line on a carry by Kelly that goes for 26. Let's go to Katie.
Well, Manny Diaz said just that. Playing against 3 quarterbacks is keeping his defense off balance. UVA is also running a lot of shifts and motions that they hadn't seen on the film to prepare for. He said it's simple. They need to score on offense and end up in the end zone, and then they need to stop the run. Manny Diaz says they want Virginia to beat them throwing the football.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. First down and 10. Armstrong back in there at least to begin this drive. as he will hand it off to Taulapapa on the first play of the second half. So, a lot of teams say that, the whole idea of facing multiple quarterbacks, it unnerves you, especially quarterbacks who can really run with the football.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting to hear Virginia talk about it as, look, it's more about us than trying to confuse the defense. But it's confusing the defense.
It certainly is. Thompson straight ahead, diving into the pile. That'll gain him only 1 yard. So already we've seen two different quarterbacks in these initial moments of the second half. The quarterbacks tonight, Armstrong without question the thrower. Thompson 25 yards on the ground and 11 receiving yards as well. And there's Armstead, the freshman out of South Bend, Indiana, waiting his turn, which is bound to come. 3rd down and 8. Armstrong out of the pocket, some late pressure, slings it up there and incomplete. Intended for Henry, but can't connect.
Yeah, and it's a blitz by Miami. And you can see they end up getting home. And basically a free runner and a free hit by Gilbert Frierson. I think that's why Armstrong misses just a bit. I think he rushed it some, feeling the pressure, just overshoots the intended wide receiver.
So Virginia 3 and out to begin the second half. And Nash Griffin back to punt. We'll see how much the weather affects play here in the second half, as Griffin does get it off. And back with a fair catch. That's where Miami will start it. ACC Network Football. Great to have you with us here tonight. Hope wherever you are safe and dry. Watching Miami and Virginia in the ACC. And De'Ara King, who had some really impressive drives in the first half. Very few incompletions. He had 4 touchdown passes last week against Pitt. A very, very good defense. He's already twice been named the ACC Quarterback of the Week. 2 times in the first 5 games. Harris in motion. King looking to run down. He'll be taken down. And stopped there by Noah Taylor, who has been everywhere tonight, and tackles him for no gain.
That's a good play by Noah Taylor. We've seen King be so dangerous on pass plays where he decides to scramble. It's imperative that the Virginia pass rushers don't rush past the quarterback. This just opens up running lanes.
King on 2nd and 10 on some play action, but here they come to take him down. Nothing doing there. As Virginia snipped that one out, they'll lose 2 on the Miami side.
I think it's a run pass option that De'Ara King gets fooled on, which is why he was stuck holding the football with not pass protection, because his offensive line wasn't, expecting the quarterback to be there holding the football. They're blocking the run, which is the definition of the run pass option.
Virginia with their 7th tackle for loss in the game. 3rd and long here for King. Here they come again. Running across the 20, trying to get to the first down as he spirals out of bounds. Heck of an effort there. He's going to be very, very close on it. See where they mark the football. 4th down and 1.
From my angle, Dave, it looked a little closer than where they spotted the football. You and I did a number of games last year where the line to gain was looked at quite a bit, but it's hard to tell where he goes out of bounds there, but no part of his body touched out of bounds prior to crossing the gain mark.
With the punts, and Kemp is going to run it out. Across the 30-yard line, takes a knock around the 35, and that's where he goes down. 52-yard punt, a 20-yard return. Miami on top 10-7, but Virginia looking to move the football here, and they get it back here. The early moments of the 3rd quarter. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, and Katie George with you from Hard Rock Stadium. As we mentioned, the next national champion will be crowned in this stadium. The Big Ten got underway its first games of 2020, a conference-only schedule. Ohio State came out ready, 52-17 over Nebraska. The Buckeyes #5 in the country. So first down and 10 for Brennan Armstrong, back from concussion protocol. He's going to sling this one, but incomplete, as he wanted Billy Kemp on the sideline, but couldn't get him. So that brings up second down and 10 for Virginia. They went 9-5 last season, winning the ACC's Coastal Division, eventually falling to Clemson in the ACC championship game. Right now they're 1-3 and trying to snap a 3-game losing skid in a very tough place. Talapapa slicing inside, tucking that head. He is stacked up. Wayne Talapapa will pick up 5 yards.
I will say, watching this Virginia offense, you know, what's distracting is you see 98, you know he's a quarterback, and you know what they've done tonight, and he goes in motion, and I mean, he's got my attention doing that. And he kind of just widens the defense, and they hit Talapapa inside. You have to think for Miami, every time they see one of these quarterbacks lined up somewhere else, that it's grabbing your attention. Here comes Thompson motioning back into the backfield.
Third down 5. Thompson in the flat with a catch, trying to break free, but they get to him quickly. So not much going on there. That won't gain anything. Nice job by Sam Brooks, the middle linebacker, to come up and say hello. So it brings up fourth down and 5. We're in the third quarter. Miami leading 10-7. Nash Griffin back to punt, and he will get it away. And back for the fair catch inside the 10-yard line is Mark Pope. That's when the drive will begin. 53-yard punt.
Welcome back to Hard Rock Stadium here in the third quarter, where Miami leads by 3. Today marks the start of the ACC's first Unity Week, which was developed through the efforts of the ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, titled CORE, an acronym for Champions of Racial Equity. Players of all sports were provided wristbands that read Unite, while teams had created t-shirts for pregame warm-ups with the Unite logo across the chest, and both teams linked arms prior to kickoff. The ACC will highlight specific themes and initiatives of unity each day of this week throughout next Saturday's slate of games. It's something that John Swofford says is meaningful and fulfilling. It's a week to unite around social justice for all and eliminate systemic racism. Dave, Tim?
It was actually a wonderful scene, Katie. We were watching that on our monitors before the game got underway. King trying to break free. Somehow he does, and on his feet lurches forward close to the 15-yard line. Wonderful to see both sides getting together like that, locking arms before the game in unity. It was a wonderful sight. A man is down here for Virginia. That's going to be Amos, who's really played exceptionally well tonight for Virginia in his secondary. We're going to take the break. 9:44 to go here in the third. Miami on top of Virginia, 10-7.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
A free safety, D'Angelo Amos, able to leave the field with a hand injury. Appeared to strike his hand on the helmet of De'Aaron King. But he has left the game, at least for now, for Virginia. Second down and 5 for Miami. And whistles here. Stop the clock at 9:43 to go in the third. Apparently they started play a little too quickly there. So here's Harris trying to bounce back inside, but he's taken down on the play by Snowden. Charles Snowden, the 6'7", 240-pound senior.
And he's been all over the place tonight, and running the football against this Virginia front has been brutal. In fact, it's been brutal all season long. Great job of setting the edge by Snowden, and you just think just 30 yards rushing in the first half for Miami. One of those was a 19-yard run by King.
He has time to fire, throws long and caught by Harley on a sliding catch, and a first down.
And Dave, I think they just need to rely on the passing game a little bit more here and find ways to make plays in the passing game. Moving the football, running it hasn't worked. I think you need to loosen up this Virginia defense by throwing the football.
Instead, going to keep it on the ground here on first down. And a 3-yard pickup here by Jalen Knighton. And one thing the coaches will tell you about D'Eriq King is he can throw the long ball. He's very confident in his arm strength. Gets rid of this one, and a nice catch made. Now Peyton actually will pick up 5.
Dave, I think that's a great point about him being a good deep ball thrower. They haven't connected on many this season, but it's not because he can't do it.
A big gain on the outside. Here's Knighton again. And they're really starting to get him into the mix, Tim, and he'll pick up 12.
Yeah, you know, we talk about their running backs for Miami, and Cameron Harris, probably the most prepared in every situation, but as runners, you know, Knighton and Chaney, the 2 true freshmen, are very good.
Oh boy, nearly picked off, and had that been intercepted by Nick Grant, that's a pick 6. You can take that to the house.
You're exactly right. We've seen this. The trips, and you're going to run the bubble. There's Mallory in the middle, and they're trying to get the football to Marshall Few. We saw that earlier. And basically, it's just a great job of Nick Grant anticipating it, seeing it, trusting his eyes, kind of firing his gun. He just doesn't make the play on the football.
Happened to Trevor Lawrence, by the way, the great Clemson quarterback. He was picked off a pick 6 for the first time in his career today. Although Clemson won handily against Syracuse. King on the run will fire that one, and very tight to the sideline. A completed pass and caught by Harley, who has been his #1 target.
He sure has. He does a good job of working with his quarterback as he's in trouble, comes back to him on the sideline. That's what you want to do if you're the widest receiver. Either come back to the sideline to your quarterback, or you turn up the field.
Flag down here, 7 catches, over 130 yards.
Number 81, offense. 5-yard
for Harley
penalty.
tonight.
First down.
On a false start. .7:16 to go here in the third. First down and 15 for the Canes. And D'Eriq King looking for a long drive here. He's going to need one to get into the end zone again. Got in the end zone in the first half minute of play tonight, but not since. And on the handoff, it's Chaney again. Chaney tiptoeing on the sideline. Nice run. Not a guy who has used a ton, but the freshman out of Homestead, Florida, will pick up a big gainer, and that play will go for 14. And the rain falling again here in Miami Gardens.
Officials timeout to deal with a malfunction with the chains.
They're having a chains issue here, so an official timeout. With 6:42 left in the third. On 2nd down and 1. So we'll see if they have that rectified. With Miami in the lead, 10-7 over Virginia. And now they will restart play. D'Eriq King, the transfer from Houston, with the handoff. Chaney again, trying to go wide. And Virginia does a good job on the coverage there. Zendier with the stop, but he did pick up 6.
And you see why they're so excited about these true freshman running backs between Knighton and Cheney. You see the speed and vision. And you also see Virginia struggling with the pace and forced to call a timeout here to late getting guys onto the field.
Their first of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So they will take the timeout. Miami into the red zone, where they have been really, really good this season. Give you a look at some ACC news and notes coming into our game tonight. Clemson with a big win against Syracuse, as mentioned. Notre Dame busting out all over Pitt, 45-3, 42-point win, the largest on the road since 2003 for the Irish. Javonte Williams running wild today for North Carolina against NC State, 160 yards, Tim, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was great. Not surprising to see North Carolina run the football well. What was surprising to see Wake Forest, take care of business against Virginia Tech. We've seen Virginia Tech a few times, Dave, and been impressed with that team. Kind of dealt with a little adversity with COVID, stuff like that, but they've been hard to stop. It's a big win for Dave Clawson's crew.
A running attempt here by Cheney off that right side. Stopped by Nick Jackson. Give him a 6-yard pickup, and he's becoming the man to run the football here for Miami on this drive. 2nd down and 5. Miami leading the ACC, scoring 94% of the time when they get inside the red zone. Cheney staying on his feet and moving it forward once again. Briggs with the tackle. Donald Cheney, the freshman, getting a lot of work on this drive for the Hurricanes from offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley. And he's going to go down on a knee as he tried to make a slicing move to his left. Took a little slip there. Now they're going to take him out.
I'm getting the sense that Virginia's tired. They're late getting lined up. You have guys kind of, not sure where they're going to be. They're trying to run guys off the field. This pace is really starting to become a problem for them, and now it's showing in the run game.
2 tight ends again for the Canes. And off this time is Knighton, but not a lot there. This drive started at their own 9-yard line as they knock on the door. Nick Jackson with the tackle. He has 10 tackles, and 3 of those have gone for a loss. He's having a big night for Virginia. Jackson, one of the linebackers for the Cavaliers. 3rd and goal. 14th play of the drive coming up here. Cheney in the backfield. They hand off to him, but once again they see that coming and nothing doing for the Hurricanes. Brings up 4th and goal.
That's a big stop right there, and it's like the field goal unit is coming on for Miami. What a stop. I mean, you think about defending 15 plays as a defense. You're tired. They're starting to lean on you a little bit with the run game. But to basically, bend and don't break inside the 5-yard line, that's a good effort by that Virginia defense.
Borregales from 20 yards. So a chip shot for him. It is up and it is good. So Miami adding on to their lead now, 13-7 over Virginia. Well, the Canes wanted a lot more out of that drive, too.
They certainly did. And you just kind of look at the reaction on the Virginia sideline about the stop. I mean, you would think they came up with a turnover. The way that some of those defenders were being greeted as they came over to the sideline, but that's a big stand. I mean, that's, they just drove the football on you down the field, but to hold them to a field goal is a massive win for Bronco Mendenhall's group, and keeps this a 1-score game.
So 3:47 to go in the 3rd, and a 13-7 lead for Miami as the Canes are about to kick off, bidding for their 5th win of the season and trying to go to 4-1 in the ACC. Their next couple of games are going to be on the road at NC State and then at Virginia Tech. And we'll be hosting nationally ranked North Carolina on December 5th. And they're going to decide to bring this one out late here in the third, and a good stop by special teams. A 14-yard return. Our New York Life drive recap.
Well, it started with Derek King backed up, finds Harley down the middle, gives him a ball that he can make a play on, finds him again on the sideline, escaping outside the pocket, and then it was Cheney, the true freshman, doing some work on the perimeter, forces them to a field goal. And listen, it's a nice drive by that Miami offense after they have been bogged down, putting together a sustained drive. That's really what Virginia wants them to do. But to come away with points, certainly a good thing at this point in the game.
A bad decision cost him 11 yards to bring that one out. Armstrong to fire and complete, caught by Jana. Jana will break free to the left side, spins away from a tackler across the 50, and then a stiff arm to get him a couple more. Terrell Janney's been very quiet to this point, but he's a guy who's been a regular target, Tim. 22 catches coming in.
He's been a regular target. He's been a good player for this Virginia program, and he just breaks a tackle of Bubba Bolden, who's a really good player. And then Frierson kind of takes a bad angle, and that's a big play, especially for an offense that had 2 3-and-outs so far in this second half.
The biggest play of the game. They ripped it off for 49 yards. That's when the Cavaliers desperately needed. First down and 10. They're on the move. Armstrong will step up. Maybe he had a little more time than he thought, but down he goes.
That's a great point, David. Exactly what I was thinking. He just kind of panicked in the pocket there. There was no reason. There wasn't much of a pass rush. Just probably too eager to tuck it and run with it. And when you do that, you don't let the defense kind of spread out. You know, the longer you can hold the football, eyes down the field, the wider the running lanes become.
Well, another trick play here on the move. It's Kelly, but once again, Miami there to step up and stop it. That's going to lose 7 yards on that play.
Yeah, and I don't love this play. You think about Miami, you think about Miami on defense, it's all about speed. And so, listen, I know Kelly's got a lot of speed, but, you know, to go sideways against this Miami defense, I think you're playing into their hands.
3rd down and 17. Armstrong on the move again. Trying to get to that 40-yard line, and he scampers out of bounds. McLeod giving chase. He does get 5 back, but brings up 4th down.
You know, and I think that you get in, I mean, it's obviously a punting situation. It's 4th and long. Just didn't possess the football for a very long time through this Virginia offense. And so by not doing so, you know, it's going to be a quick turnaround for a defense that just defended a 15-play drive and started to look like they were wearing down.
So Virginia forced to punt. And they'll take a skip into the end zone. Well, you wonder who's going to take on the Clemson Tigers of the notable remaining games. ACC championship game contenders. Notre Dame #3 coming up November 7. North Carolina. They've got Notre Dame on November 27. You mentioned Miami and North Carolina on December the 5th.
I think it's clearly all eyes on Ian Book. He's leading a team that has a chance at it. I think Miami, and I think the fact that Manny Diaz is addressing it with his football team about the ability for another shot speaks to where they think they should be as a program, where they have been in the past as a program, competing at the very top of college football.
Lang trying to get outside, nothing doing there. And you know, there was so much build up to that game, Tim, on the Miami side, you know, going up against Clemson, the #1 team, and they got knocked around in that game, but they felt like they learned a lot of very important lessons. They felt like the next time they play them, if they are lucky enough to, it's going to be a different kind of game.
Yeah, and I think they should feel that way, and that should be the message to your football team.
Little flea flicker. King now to move to his right, looking downfield. He will fire and incomplete. So that play got the nothing. Intended for Pope.
I think the other aspect of that, Dave, is, you know, they lose a game. And not only do they lose, I think the term we heard a bunch was, you know, we got whipped. And you know, they just kind of ran them off the field. And so how do you respond the very next week? And they responded well. I think that did show some maturity. It's also something that Manny Diaz talked to about with his football team.
3rd and 11 here as King tries to keep this one alive. With 31 seconds to go in the 3rd, he is back to throw again. He rolls, fires, and that one looked like it was out of bounds. Right there on the sideline. He was able to get it complete. And a nice catch there by Harlan.
I think that if they're, I'm surprised they didn't take another look at that, Dave, because it's close. I think it might be good. Now, it depends on when we're saying he has possession of the catch. Now he has it, and that right foot is down. I do think that is a catch. I am a bit surprised that it wasn't stopped.
That is the end of the 3rd. And Miami has the lead 13-7 over Virginia, with the rain continuing to fall here at Miami Gardens. Start of the 4th quarter coming up, 13-7. Miami on top of Virginia. These two teams scored touchdowns on the game's first 2 drives. They have not scored a touchdown in the last 12 possessions. So in that regard, it's been a fascinating game. We really thought this game would be, you know, 45-45 by now, the way it started. 2nd down to 9 for Miami as we get the 4th quarter underway. De'Ara King wanting to throw, on the run again, looking downfield, and fires that one to the sideline for D. Wiggins.
And I think the story has been these receivers for Miami. I think he's out of bounds. You know, they didn't look at the last one.
Ruling on the previous play's completed pass. That play is under further review.
Yep, we thought they should have looked at the previous one, but they've decided to look at this one and certainly have reason to. Ruled on the field, complete for 27 yards. We'll step aside here as they give it a closer look on a reception by Wiggins. 13-7 Miami on Virginia. Now ruled on the field, D. Wiggins, a reception, and the play under review. Take a look.
Yeah,
after further review, the
is,
ruling on the field stands. First down.
Yeah.
I think the tricky part with this is his hands are touching the football when his right foot is on the ground, but that ball gets through to his chest. So it's not when you're touching the football and you have a foot in bounds. You've got to have, you know, you've got to have caught the football and have your, you know, foot on the ground. So they're going to keep, you know, let it stand, but I don't think there's any way it would stand if it was ruled the other way.
It's the 7th completion of 25 or more yards by De'Ara King as they uphold it. And on the running play, it's going to be Knighton again. Actually, a Mark Pope there again. That goes for 15.
Yeah, it could have gone for a lot more. De'Ara King was able to keep him
player
up.
downfield, number 3. Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
A similar penalty that Virginia had earlier. It had a wide receiver covering another wide receiver. You look at the 2 guys on the bottom of your screen. Well, one of them has to be off the ball. You can't have both of them on the ball and then have them both released down the field. Otherwise, it's an illegal man downfield, and it's just a silly procedural penalty that shouldn't be happening at this point of the season.
So backs him up. They would have been in the red zone. First down and 15. King stepping up on his feet. Going to pick up across the 30, getting that first down marker. And a nice run there by the quarterback who can beat you in so many ways.
So many ways, Dave. I mean, just look at the pocket collapse on him. I mean, he just does an excellent job of kind of remaining a passer, subtle movements, but then, you know, just the elusiveness and then the speed once he gets to the perimeter.
Well, I think that's another factor, too, as a quarterback, and that one broken up and dropped by Mark
An incomplete forward pass, second down.
Incomplete forward pass. Second down coming up here for Miami.
I think King's a stronger runner than people realize. You know, he'll finish runs with power. He breaks a lot of arm tackles. He obviously has great quickness and speed, but I think he's stronger in the pocket and a stronger runner than people realize. And I think it's one of the problems defenses have with him once they see him in real speed.
He's rushed a couple of times for 15 or more yards. A drop here by Pope, who's looking at his hands like, you let me down. So incomplete, brings up 3rd and 10. We've seen 8 passes of 20 yards or more from De'Ara King. As mentioned, 2 runs of at least 15 yards tonight. He had 28 touchdown runs at Houston. Back to throw on a 3rd and long and complete. Nice play by Harley. Harley will pick up a first down.
It's a great play by Harley. Good job of King of giving Harley a ball where he can run after the catch, keep his speed up, and kind of a coming out party for Harley tonight.
And off here, it'll be Knighton into the center of the line, who's gotten a lot of carries here tonight. This will gain him 5 yards. Second and goal for Miami.
Another test here for this Virginia defense. I mean, we saw the bend don't break last time they were down here.
Timeout.
Virginia do it again.
Their second of the half.
And these really are exhaustion timeouts. Second and goal coming up, 13-7. Miami trying to bang it in again.
ACC Network Football is presented by Geico. Happy Geicoing. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance.
Miami won its 5th and most recent national championship in 2001. They went 12-0. 17 future first-round NFL draft picks were on the roster. They beat number 2 Nebraska 37-14 in the Rose Bowl game in 2002. And just one great name after another. That's what they're trying to get back to, Tim.
Yeah, and I think they feel like they should be able to recruit that caliber of football player into this program. And just looking at those faces, it's like, oh my goodness, they were loaded. And years before that were guys like Edwin James, Santana Moss, Reggie Wayne. I mean, it's crazy.
Flag down here. Pope was trying to get outside. This is the 4th trip into the red zone, and no scores yet for Miami. So it's been a bit frustrating, even though they lead it 13-7.
And I think the talk here is
Personal
horse
foul.
collar.
Horse collar tackle, number 7. Defense. Half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
That's Noah Taylor, who has otherwise played a terrific ball game for Virginia. But the horse collar.
I think it's just so hard to set the edge when they get these, you know, speed players to the perimeter. You got these big linebackers trying to set the edge, forcing things back inside. And, you know, he initially had an angle, but losing his angle forced him to grab the back of the shoulder pads.
Double tight end set. Hand off, trying for the goal line. Coming up short, though, is Chenu. Chenu has really been very, very active this evening. As that clock runs here early in the 4th quarter at Miami Gardens, Florida. Second down and goal coming up for the Canes. And the snap right to Cheney. Trying that right side. He stayed on his feet. And he is into the end zone. The snap right to the freshman, and he is in for 6.
And it was the second effort, Dave, that really did the trick, as you said, and kind of bottled up at first. Just a good job of everyone up front continuing to work. Looks like escape, or maybe Ja'Kai Clark grabs onto him, kind of pulls him in the end zone.
Helped him in. They're going to go for 2. And flags down. 12:04 left in the 4th.
Timeout, Virginia. Their 3rd and final of the half.
Yeah, they're burning through.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Timeouts, a 30-second timeout. We'll take one as well.
Correction, media timeout.
Welcome back to ACC Network Primetime Football presented by Geico. As you look at the score by quarters, and Miami trying to get in again in another driving rainstorm. For a while the rain had stopped, but it's back again. And a 19-7 lead here for Miami as they're looking for a 2-point conversion after yet another Virginia timeout. They burned right through them. So King trying to punch it in again. A man in motion, Harley. He's going to roll. Chase down, and down he goes as they get to him. That was Zandier all over him, Tim.
Yeah, and it looked like they were trying to set up some type of throwback. And Virginia did a really good job battling down and tight. Does a good job on this 2-point play. See King looking to throw the football back, roll out right, try to throw it back, but was well covered, and Zandier there to make a play. I think the challenge now, Dave, is kind of venturing into these situations, 2-score game where you have to pass the football. And you know, you were asking earlier about, hey, can you continue to do this, playing all these different quarterbacks? I don't know how conducive that is to must-pass situations, especially in conditions where the weather is bad. And so I think that ends up being one of the challenges, you know, that you're concerned about.
Well, we'll see how that changes the offensive philosophy for Bronco Mendenhall and his offensive coordinator, Robert Anai. And these last 12 minutes of play down 19-7 with 12 minutes to go. Kelly back. We'll watch that sail. And our big bowl moment brought to you by Bojangles.
Well, we couldn't choose just one of these moments tonight because it's all about D'Eriq King to Mike Harley early in the football game. Hits him on the deep route. That stuff on the perimeter. Good run after the catch by Harley. Finds him over the middle. Working all areas of the field. Really stepped up. Even when his quarterback was in trouble, working with him. Nifty footwork on the sideline. He's been outstanding tonight. Just look at that. 9 catches for over 160 yards and a score. That's stepping up big time.
Armstrong to fire, and in and out of the hands of Billy Kemp to bring up 2nd down. It should be noted that Lavelle Davis, the outstanding freshman wide receiver for Virginia, not playing tonight. 6'7", 210 pounds, a rising star in the ACC. He's averaging over 23 yards per catch. And they are without him tonight. That's a huge weapon, Tim.
That's a great reminder, Dave, because he's been their most explosive player. And he's been guys in situations like this, you know, have to throw it, situations where they've given him opportunities on jump balls, and he's really delivered. You mentioned yards per reception, but he also has 3 touchdown scores. Kind of took over the Duke game early in the year. Made a couple big plays against Clemson, and I think they're really missing him in their offense.
The Bronco says he's always open. I guess that goes without saying when you're 6'7" and have the abilities that he has, but he's always open on virtually every play. 3rd down and 2. Armstrong to put it in the air again. Flinging it up long, intended for Kemp, but incomplete. Talk about Davis. Yeah.
I was just going to say, you know, they throw jump balls to Lavelle Davis. They just threw into a 5'9" Kemp, and then you see the production in terms of the receiver position getting into the end zone this year. 3 for Davis. The rest of the wide receivers, just 2. And, throwing jump balls to Billy Kemp, that's not his game. That is the game of 6'7" Lavelle Davis.
Miami defense with 8 consecutive stops. Trying to do it again. Armstrong on his feet. He gets the first down, and he will rumble out of bounds. Chased out by Frierson, but he picks up 7 yards there.
And this is the grittiness and the toughness that Bronco Mendenhall likes, that Armstrong brings to his team. He said that he thinks they're a tougher football team because he's their quarterback, and it's kind of moments like that that I think they feel like they can build on with him.
Yeah, it's gutsy play. 1st and 10. Needs to drive them into the end zone, and incomplete as it is broken up. Intended for Jana. Good stop by Hall with the coverage in the rain. Hurricanes trying to go to 5-1 and 4-1 in the ACC, and trying to send Virginia to a 4th consecutive defeat. Clemson a big winner today. North Carolina a big winner today. UNC 48-21 over NC State. Running the ball so well. Armstrong with a relatively short pass to Jana. Now Terrell Jana with a catch will gain 6 yards. There's an injured man on the field. Clock will stop at 10:23 remaining here in Miami Gardens. We will step aside as well. Miami on top, 19-7 on Virginia. Well, the 6'10" offensive lineman Ryan Swoboda, the tackle, is now in the medical tent. As a true freshman, he was hospitalized for 3 weeks because of a life-threatening heat stroke when his temperature spiked to 109 degrees during a workout. It took a full year, Tim, for him to be cleared to play again. He's also played some tight end. Let's see if he will return tonight. That leaves a very big opening on that offensive line for someone to fill. Armstrong on the snap will get it across the 50-yard line. Still up down to the 40 on a hard tackle, but a hard run. And a flag down.
Holding, number 55, offense. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Lou Timothy center on that play.
And you see him here, just, quarterback design run. Guys get up on McLeod, and really not necessary. And we just needed to get enough of him because Armstrong was hitting the hole so quickly. Just that second grab, as he kind of got off balance, ended up being easy for the official to see.
Only their 5th penalty, but they have been costly, haven't they? And on the run, getting close to that 1st down marker, the stop by Frierson. That will gain 11 yards for the Cavaliers. As mentioned, Bronco Mendenhall got through those timeouts awfully quick. He has none left against a team when they get the football back that could not go any faster, Tim.
Yeah, I think that's a look back on some of those early on. I get the one on the 2-point play because of the, it's a scoring play, but basically because of an exhausted defense, you had to use your timeouts, and there's a lot of football left. They could come in handy.
4th and 3. They've converted a 4th and 2 on this drive. Armstrong fires again. It's batted down, incomplete. He wanted his tight end Poljan, who was so sure-handed, but not this time. Broken up by Ivy. Katie, I know you were down there in the driving rain. How bad is it?
Well, this is by far the hardest it's rained down here, and for the longest period. So far throughout this game, we've had a little scattered showers here and there. They'd pop up and then they'd go away quickly. But it's been raining for a consistent period of time. And Tim, for an offense that hasn't been throwing the ball a whole lot, how difficult is a scenario like this?
Listen, I think it's really hard. I mean, to me, some quarterbacks don't mind a wet football. I never liked it one bit, but I think when the ball gets heavy, it bothers the receivers. We've seen guys take their gloves off. And I think for Virginia, it just doesn't necessarily fit into their style of play, considering they're down 12 points.
Knight with a 5-yard pickup. I think some of you have noticed there are a couple of fans here. Handful are allowed in for tonight's game. Obviously properly socially distanced, but they're not getting wet at all because the way the stadium is built, they are underneath. There is an overhang except for what is right over the top of the playing surface, right over the gridiron. So these fans are fine. Different story for the players.
I have noticed that. That's kind of a sweet little setup.
Yeah.
Surprised they haven't invited Katie to come sit with them.
I was about to say Katie's the other one getting soaked. Into the flat. This one caught by Wiggins as he will step out of bounds and bring up 3rd down here for the Hurricanes. Just over 8 minutes to go. They lead it 19-7.
You would think that Brett Lashley would slow things down, and by slow things down, I don't mean snap the football with 20 seconds left on the play clock. You're not in 4-minute offense mode, but obviously it matters.
3rd and 4. He will sling it, but out of bounds. Incomplete, intended for Harley. And that clock running. 4th down and 4 coming up.
I think Miami thought they had a free play, Dave. I mean, I think they thought they got Virginia to jump, and they had a free play. Like, not a single offensive lineman moved.
How about
when
that?
The ball was snapped, and the receivers ran down the field. Well, especially if you're a quarterback. Yeah. But I think they thought that it was offsides and a free play.
So the 6'4" punter, Headley, will get it off. He's been having a really fine year doing that down to the 5-yard line. And he got this one off for 34 yards. Here's a look.
That's what I mean. They're offsides. Virginia is. They don't move. They're still in their stances. Derek King is on the numbers. He throws the football. He completes it. They are still in their stance.
Statuesque.
I mean,
unless that's a trick play,
right.
Unlike anything you were ever taught at BC.
Listen, that's not. It's a trick on the quarterback, is what it is. They say, hey, we're not going to block anybody. And if that is not on Command Man on Monday Night Football,
right,
then I'm going to yell at those producers. What was that?
It had to be totally by design, right? And that one's going to be completed to Kemp, who will scoot out of bounds. Billy Kemp with another reception. Came in #1 in the ACC, catching 9 balls per game. This play goes for 18 yards. They need a bunch more of them. 7:22 remaining in the game.
Well, listen, that was 4th and 4. That play we're laughing about. That obviously would have extended the drive, and now all of a sudden Virginia, still plenty of time left for 2 scores, getting the ball back now.
1st and 10. Armstrong stepping up. Left-hander fires, and it's dropped this time by Kemp. In and out of the hands, and incomplete.
And that's a brutal one. Kemp's been so good. That ball's right into his chest, and doesn't squeeze his elbows. I do think the conditions are hard for everybody.
Have to be. That had to be a result of shorthanded as he is of the wet conditions. But 2nd and 10, a little bit of pressure. Bumps into a blocker, and down goes Armstrong. So that'll gain just 1 yard. And they need to start piling him up as he lost the shoe. In these sloppy conditions.
And a sloppy sock now, too. That would be brutal. A wet sock after stepping on there, throwing it back on your shoe.
Very few feelings in life that are worse than that. 3rd down and 9. Under 6.5 remaining. Armstrong looking to the flat, complete to Kemp. Trying to get to that 1st down marker. but he did not quite reach it. Just short. So brings up 4th down.
Yeah, and I would have to think that there's some type of read play here. You have 2 good ball carriers between Talapapa and Armstrong. And I think reading the defense, putting the leverage defender in a bind.
Quarterback keeps it instead. And in the open field, it's Armstrong who cuts back inside. Finally taken down after a gigantic gain. Stopped by Bolden.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. The ability to give it to Talapapa. Defense squeezes down on him, keep it. And now all of a sudden on a 4th down defense, you always see big plays pop out of it when you get past that first line of defense. It's a good job by Armstrong. Good play call by Robert Onai.
32 yards. Remember, no timeouts for them. He's going to heave this one. He's got a receiver open, and it's going to be Henry into the end zone. Rashawn Henry catching the touchdown. And don't look now, but the Cavaliers are right back in the game. A 35-yard strike.
Right back in is right. They don't get lined up correctly. Al Blades is the corner at the top of the screen, and he never really gets out there to get lined up correctly. I'm not sure why. You want to see the receiver out there. He's late getting to him and then doesn't play the coverage correctly. Settles like he's in zone. And that miscommunication picked up by Brennan Armstrong has made this really interesting.
19-14 with over 5 minutes to go.
I mean, Rashawn Henry's got to be out there thinking, you've got to be kidding me. They say throw up the mailbox flag at that point. He doesn't even do it. He's fortunate Armstrong sees him. But just a mental error by the Miami defense that's really inexplicable. In that situation, it's not like they hit him or it was some unique formation. Just was lined up out there, and Al Blades doesn't go with him.
Virginia goes 94 yards in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And back in the contest. And in conditions like this, you never know what's going to happen with a wet football. 19-14. Miami's lead is trimmed. Armstrong with a long touchdown pass to Rashawn Henry. And here comes Virginia. So a whole new ball game here at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Number 11 Miami against the Virginia Cavaliers in the ACC. So Dunkel to kick off and kicking short. Here comes Hall trying to stick to that sideline and tackled out of bounds. Our Geico player spotlight. Now Mike Harley, the big night tonight, Tim. 9 receptions, 165 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, you just look at his average through the first 5 games. One of the reasons I think we've been seeing so many wide receivers for Miami play, looking for somebody to step up. Well, how about Mike Harley stepping up in a really big way and doing it in some tough conditions as well.
His 4 catches of 20 yards or better. Quarterback will keep it. King straight on the carry. De'Ara King. And a 3-yard pickup for the Hurricanes. Coming up on the 5-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. And a 5-point lead for Miami, trying to eat this one out. And a handoff here. And a carry by Burns for the first time tonight. Robert Burns gets his hands on it, the junior from Miami.
He carried the ball late in the game against Pitt last week. I think, more physical runner, but I think the bigger story here is, they call it a 4-minute offense for a reason, but that doesn't mean you can't slow the football game down at 5 minutes, which Miami is just not doing.
Well, they got 5 wide receivers in the game. He's going to throw again and picks up the first down on a short toss. That one complete to Harley. A 5-yard gain and a first down.
Look, I love tempo offense. I love the speed teams play with now. I love the fact that teams will change tempo and, you know, they'll slow things down a little bit, but, you know, get a look at the defense. I think it can help your quarterback. It can help your offensive line. There are a lot of advantages to it. But I do think you need to do what's going on here, which is, all right, let's end the football game with the ball in our hands and snap it with 1 second left on the play clock.
On it down to 5 there, and a handoff once again for Burns as he is stacked up. Robert Burns on the carry, the junior, Miami native. So a much tenser feeling here for the Hurricanes in these final moments. Again, Virginia with no timeouts. And that becomes bigger and bigger with each passing minute.
And Dave, had they started this pace, you know, in the previous 3 downs, you know, it would be a big deal. Now you think about the mismanagement of the timeouts for Virginia and how critical that is.
2nd down 8 for King. He'll keep it, fire it, and incomplete. Overshooting Harley there, his intended receiver. So 2:56 remaining. And a huge 3rd and 8 coming up for King in Miami.
And it's a huge 3rd and 8 because he misses Harley. If he hits Harley here, who's already had an incredible night, that's a touchdown.
And they could have burned even more time. And now a timeout, Miami.
Timeout, Miami. They're first of the half.
Well, this is what I mean on this 2nd and 8 play.
This will be a 30-second
so
timeout.
upset. It's essentially zero coverage. He's in the slot there, a little play action, and he's going to get inside the defender. And when he gets inside the defender, if this ball is thrown across the field, he's going to catch it, and he is going to run for a touchdown. And that is just a brutal miss in that situation, and now creates a really critical 3rd down for this Miami offense.
We have seen a little bit of questionable clock management here down the stretch. And as you mentioned, Harley, you know, if that's a completed pass, he's off to the races. There's nobody faster in the building than Mike Harley.
No, and the fact that he misses him obviously stops the clock. And so you think of the beginning part of this drive, and then you think about the incompletion there, all in the context of Virginia not having any timeouts left. I think this could have been handled a different way.
And Miami in desperate need of a first down here. Back to throw King. Looking long. Going deep again. A tie up on that play. Did not see a flag. Incomplete, but there's a flag now. Late flag tossed in there after the incomplete pass. It was very late, by the way.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a flag this late.
Pass interference, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Obviously a gigantic play and an automatic first down, but this came in many seconds late.
Well, in the, I mean, to me, Nick Grant does a pretty good job there. You know, you are allowed to touch somebody. You know, you're not allowed to grab them and kind of impede them. But I think that was a good sell job on the sideline by Miami, because that flag came in really late by an official who's behind the play.
Take another look here from a different angle.
So listen, the ball is kind of the moment of truth is about the 26-yard line, and from the opposite 48, the flag comes in. And then again, you know, because of the timeout situation now, the extension of this drive, critical.
Going to run it again. This time it's Knighton on the carry. And under 2 minutes to go. With a 19-14 Miami lead. And King trying to bleed out the clock here. 3rd down and 9. And let's see what the Canes do on this call.
You know, and I have to say, I would be very comfortable running the football, using your good punter to pin them back, and forcing this offense in these conditions with no timeouts.
King's going to run it on his own, and he is stacked up. So punting situation here as we approach the 1 minute mark. We've talked a good deal tonight about the outstanding punter for Miami, the big Aussie Lou Headley, 6'4", about 230 pounds. And one of the candidates for the Ray Guy Best Punter of the Year award. So Virginia, they're only going to wind up having about 20 seconds left.
And I think that's why, you know, when it's, you know, you just look at the situation and the situation
Timeout,
that the
Miami, their second of the half.
Virginia in this case is going to be in when they try to, you know, get the football back. It's a really good shot. You're inside your own 20-yard line. You have no timeouts. And as you said, Dave, you're going to have just around 20 seconds left to play.
Well, every Saturday morning it's the huddle with Jordan and Eric, EJ and Mark. It's coming up next right after this game is complete. Those guys put together a very long day and do a phenomenal job. So many games to cover, including this one. North Carolina's big win, 48-21 over NC State. Devontae Williams with 160 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns for Carolina. Clemson cruising over Syracuse, 47-21. Trevor Lawrence with 2 touchdown passes today. So Headley back to punt again. And he gets it away. And try and bounce that one inside the 5-yard line, but it rolls on into the end zone. So 23 seconds remaining for Virginia, trailing by 5. And a lot of this game has been played in driving rain here at Hard Rock Stadium. And if Virginia cannot pull off a miracle, they're going to drop their 4th consecutive game. And they're going to fall to 1-4 on the season. A victory for Miami, they improved to 5-1.
Well, I do think Virginia has found something in terms of the combination of quarterbacks. I don't know as much as what we've seen so far. I do think they found something.
Armstrong has to run this time. And slides across the 1st down marker there. 16 seconds to go. He's going to spike it. So 14 seconds.
You know, and
Second
Dave,
down and 10.
The thing you want to do is you need to get to a point on the field where you can run a play where your quarterback has the arm to reach the end zone. Because if you don't have that opportunity, then you're looking in some type of, you know, throw and pitch situation, and those rarely, even less so than a Hail Mary, end up working out.
Armstrong relatively short there. Going to try and keep it alive by pitching it around. And it's loose on the deck, and Miami may very well have come away with that. And Miami saying they have the football. And we're at zeros anyway. And that's your ball game. Miami wins it 19-14. Let's see if they wind up putting any more time on the clock. First turnover of the game.
Well, I would say if you haven't had a chance to wear the turnover chain, you're hoping that they do put 2 seconds back on the clock so you can throw that chain on.
Quincy Roche with the recovery.
Previous play is under further review to review the passes that were thrown during the down.
So when the ball was recovered, you would think a few more seconds left. But Miami with the football nonetheless.
I do think, I think that Wayne Talapapa's pitch to Brennan Armstrong, I think there's a chance that was forward.
The forward pass, yeah.
And then that's recovered, and probably a few seconds left on the clock there.
Well, Manny Diaz in Miami looking to celebrate in the rain here tonight. De'Ara Keene really had a fine game. King 21 for 322 yards, a touchdown. And Harley, who is his ever-present receiver, Mike Harley, with 10 catches, 170 yards, and a touchdown. Certainly the stars tonight for the Hurricanes. It's an offense that required a dramatic change from a year ago. They ranked 90th nationwide in offense last season. The hiring of Rhett Lashley certainly as offensive coordinator, and the transfer of King from Houston. They're hoping will achieve that turnaround. It has in many areas so far this season. Boy, the way the game started, it looked like Miami was going to run away and hide.
And to think they only scored 19 points on the night, surprising. But I'm going to pick up what you said there, Dave. We had a chance to see Miami last year in person and talk to the coaches and see these players. And what a difference a year makes when you talk about Rhett Lashley, as you mentioned, and De'Ara King. And listen, it's never an easy decision for a coach to change coordinators, and it's hard to find a quarterback.
After further review, the last pass was backwards. It was recovered by Miami with 6 seconds on the clock. 1st and 10 for Miami at the plus 34-yard line.
So 6 seconds to be put up on the clock here. And that's what the Hurricanes need to run out.
I think it might be able to get 2 plays off, Dave.
By the way, it's the turnover chain you're talking about. With this offense, maybe 3. As fast as they like to go. You predicted it, the turnover chain making its appearance. Fans, the few that are gathered here love that. We'll take a knee. And Miami wins this one by a final score of 19-14 here tonight over Virginia. The rainy conditions, they put this one away. For my partner Tim Hasselbeck and for Katie George, braving the rain all night long, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us here on the ACC Network. We come at you again next Saturday in prime time. Right now, back to Jordan Cornette and the guys in the studio. Have a great evening, everybody.